formula. Installment buying. Installment buying is a way to have use of an item while you're making regular payments to pay for it. Two types of installment buying are a fixed installment loan, like buying a car, and an open-end installment loan, like a credit card. When you're discussing loans, we need to know the annual percentage rate, which is the true rate of interest charged for the loan. And we need to know the finance charge, which is the total amount of money the borrower must pay for borrowing the money. Basically all of your interest. The total of all the payments made, principal and interest, is going to be the total installment price. You'll run into these phrases, this terminology in your homework. So, installment payment formula. It is possible to calculate the monthly payment directly using the following formula. M equals P times R over N, all over 1 minus 1 plus R over N, the quantity raised to the negative NT. That's hideous, ugly, and that's why we're going to use a table instead. Using an installment payment table. In order to do this, first we're going to determine how many hundreds of dollars are to be borrowed. Next, we'll use the table to find the finance charge per $100. For example, if we're borrowing at 7.5% interest for 48 months, we would go down the 7.5 column and go across the 48 row until we found 1606 as our finance charge per $100. We're going to multiply these two numbers to find our finance charge. So if you were borrowing $300, that would be 3 units. And if we had 1606, we would then multiply the 1606 per 100 times the 3 of the hundreds, gives us $48.18 is the amount of finance charge we've got for this loan. Next, we would add the finance charge to the amount borrowed to find the total installment price. This is total principal and interest that we're going to have to pay back. So in this little example over here, if I've got $300 borrowed, I've got $48.18 finance charge. My total installment price would be $348.18. And finally, to find out what your monthly or quarterly payment is, or your regular installment payment, we're going to take the $348.18 and divide it by the number of payments. Let's look at an example. Kristen Aiken wishes to purchase new window blinds at her house at a cost of $1,500. The home improvement store has an advertised finance option with no down payment, 6% APR for 24 months. Determine the finance charge and determine her monthly payment. Here is our table that we were using and a little reminder on what we need to do. So we have $1,500. That's to determine how many units, how many $100 units we're doing. We'll divide 1,500 by 100, and no surprise, that gives us 15 of these units. Use the table to find the finance charge per $100. 6%, 24 months, gives us $6.37 per $100. Alright, so that's number 2. To find our complete finance charge, we will take the $1,500 units, multiply that by $6.37 per $100 unit, and that gives us a finance charge of $95.55. Okay, now we need to find the monthly payment. First we need to get the total installment price, which will be the $1,500 plus the $95.55. So it would be $1,595.55. And to then find the monthly price, we will take $1,595.55 and divide that by the 24 months to get $66.48. That's the approximate price per month. Alright, let's look at an open-end installment loan. Mary Beth's credit card company determines her minimum monthly payment by adding any new interest owed to 1.5% of the outstanding principal. The credit card company charges a simple interest rate of 0.04792% per day. For Mother's Day, Mary Beth used her credit card to purchase a $1,500 plasma television set for her mother. That's awful nice. She made no other purchases in May, and we're going to assume that she had a zero balance to begin with. Assuming she owed no interest, determine Mary Beth's minimum payment due on June 1st, her billing date. And to do so, we're going to take $1,500, which would be her balance, and we're going to take 1.5% of that, so it'd be times 0.015, and that gives us $22.50. So her minimum payment due is $22.50. Well, let's suppose that instead of making the minimum payment, she decides to pay $200. Assuming that there are no additional charges or cash advances, what will her minimum payment be the following month, on July 1st? So let's remember, minimum monthly payment is the new interest plus 1.5% of the balance. The interest rate is per day, and at the end of May, her balance was $1,500. So let's say she made the payment. That gives her a balance of $1,300. Alright, we need to know two things. We need to know the interest on this $1,300 for the month, and we need to know the balance, 1.5% of the balance. So let's start off with the interest. We're going to use simple interest here. It's not been indicated that it's compounding interest, so we're going to stick with simple interest. When we have interest rates so small, it can be confusing. But even though it's 0.04792, we still need to turn this into a decimal. And to go from percent to decimal, we move the decimal place 2 units to the left, giving us 0.0004792. And again, I'm going to put a leading zero in there so we don't get us confused. Our interest, simple interest rate, is going to be principal, rate. Now we need time. This is a daily interest rate, and the month of June has 30 days. And when we multiply the 1,300 times 0.0004792 times 30, we get approximately $18.69. Okay, that is the new interest. Now let's look at 1.5% of the balance. That's going to be $1,300 times 0.015 which is $19.50. When we add these two together, we get $38.19. Now realistically, the balance due, many credit card companies will go ahead and round this up. So this $38.19 would become a $39 minimum payment. I neglected to do that on the Part A. That $22.50 would often be rounded up to a $23